Good morning, this is Jacob here with another video here for you guys. So something that I noticed this morning, I was reading the Bible and I was like, wow, isn't this interesting? Les Brown, he liked to have these seminars. He'd go around, he'd say, you gotta be hungry. You really gotta want what you want. You gotta know what you want, and you gotta be you gotta know what you want. And so I was reading the Bible this morning, and I ran across something, and I was like, wow, isn't that so interesting? Because so many times we listen to things and, but the Bible, it verifies a lot of information that I think is it's just so awesome. And so it was reading this morning, Matthew 15, verse 22 to 28. It says, behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. But he answered her not a word. Just ignored her. Jesus just ignored her. I just love how he handles this. And his disciples came beside him, saying, send her away, for she crieth after us. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I think he knew in his foreknowledge what she was going to say. He knew what was going to happen. But then she came and worshipped him and said, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to the dogs. And she said, truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Isn't this amazing? Then answered Jesus and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. How many times in life, when we're going through something difficult, when we're going through a situation in life, so we pray and we ask God for strength, or we pray and ask God to help us get through this, but halfway through, we quit praying. We quit asking. Because, why? Because we don't have the faith that God can handle this? After all, he built the universe. He is all existent. There is no existence without God. He is in all and in everything, and there is nothing without him. So why do we think that he can't help us? He can! All we can do is ask in faith. And there's another place that says, him that asketh, let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. He that wavereth is like a wave of the sea. It's like, an undouble-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let not that man think he shall receive anything of the Lord. So we gotta ask, but we gotta ask in faith. We gotta ask with promise. See, that woman, she had faith. She believed. And we need to be exactly like that. It's kind of like Luke 18. I found another place that I thought was so applicable to this subject. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray, and not to faint, saying, there was in a city a judge which feared not God, nor regarded man, and there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of mine adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said with himself, though I fear not God, nor regard man, yet because his widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. Isn't this interesting? But then guess what Jesus said? And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge said. Shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? God allows you to go through trials. He allows you to go through things. A perfect example is Job. He was put through all kinds of trials. But see, the test of his patience, it's amazing. God allows things into our life, not because he wants to, not because he loves for us to suffer, but because he knows that a lot of times those things will make us stronger and they will make us better. And it is essential. It is absolutely important and essential that when we are in something, even when we're not in something, we got to ask God for things that we believe. Something that I realized is over the last couple of weeks. So many times, when something is going good, we stop praying about it. We stop asking God to continue to bless it. Why? Why do we continue to do that? Are we content with the little measly thing that we got? It's kind of like for myself, it was like, okay, I have a great marriage. I have an amazing wife. She's so supportive and I just love her so much. But my question was, Is why I'm not praying for it to make it even better. I mean, I did pray for it, but I wasn't making a conscious effort to every day spend dedicated time to pray for my marriage. And I'm thinking to myself, how ridiculous. Something that is going so well, why I'm not praying to make it even better? You know, and I can tell you, it works. It really does work. I can tell a difference already. You know, and so when things are going good, we should pray. But when things are going bad, we should pray even more. And not only should we pray, but we should pray without ceasing, on and on. We should never give up, because God is honored when we continue to ask Him. He wants us to ask Him. Why? Because it shows the level of our faith. It shows the level of our faith. You know, James 2:26 says, faith without works is dead. So, we believe He can help us, but what are the works that we should be having? We need to continue to pray, and then whenever there's an opportunity to do something about it, then we need to do something about it. You know, as God brings the opportunity into our life, as God brings the things in our life, we use those things. In business, there's so many things out there. I believe that God since God is over all and He owns cattle on 1,000 hills, doesn't He have the best business advice? Doesn't He have the best guidance, the best leadership? What if we cannot see in the future, but see God? He can see into the future. He knows what's going to happen before we even start off. Therefore, having God as our counsel is the ultimate in advisors. Isn't that an amazing thing to think about? That we can ask His advice. He is not necessarily on our board. We are on the board, and He is telling us how to do something. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy this. Have an amazing weekend. We'll talk with you next time.